All right, I'm going to be jumping around the yard, talking about a lot of little and experiments that I'm doing. It's going to take a little bit of explaining, so buckle up. So first things first, I'm going to take you into the garage to show you the grow station that I finally set up. So right in here, I have what is a fairly affordable setup. This is just a LED shop light that was about $16 at Walmart to assist with seed starting in here. It's not the same as a grow light, which is going to be more full spectrum. But it's enough to get seeds going inside when it's still cold outside, and then transfer them outside once they've sprouted. So right now I just have a few things that I'm getting ready to go outside with. These are some flowers that are going to be for the springtime. I'm trying to sprout some yellow dragon fruit that I got seeds from a fruit at the grocery store, and that'll dovetail quite nicely into what I'm experimenting with. So what I'm doing is attempting to grow lots of fruits and nuts and stuff from seeds from the grocery store. And the reason that lots of people don't do this is because the popular varieties, like say a Granny Smith apple, those are popular because they have an established taste and size, and they have qualities that are well known. And so if you plant a seed from a Granny Smith, it won't be a Granny Smith. It'll be a new kind of apple, possibly a crab apple, which is just a small apple. It won't be a full-size apple that we know and love, so to speak. And I can show you, I'm actually doing this just for the heck of it. I've done just that. I have planted seeds from Granny Smith apples. I am trying Granny Smith, pomegranate. We're trying 2 different types of raspberries, and because they're in season right now, 2 different types of cranberries. And none of them have sprouted yet, but they're most likely going to soon. These have been in here for a week or so. I'm doing the same with you saw out there, the mango and pecans. And the process for pecans is interesting. You want to soak them, apparently, until they sink in the water, and ideally they'll crack. And that allows the seed inside to get the nutrients it needs to germinate and enter the soil. And only a few have done this so far. And that generally means that they're more viable as seed starts. And since these are store-bought pecans, it's possible that none of them will sprout. But it's just fun to try. And like I said, these wouldn't necessarily be good yielding trees or things along those lines if they were to make it to adulthood. But it's still fun to try. So we'll see if any of these make it. And if they do, great. If they don't, it was still good to try. And if nothing else, then I'll have a fledgling tree that I can graft, say, a better well-known pecan variety onto, and then I can have that one. I'm also doing the same with avocados. You've seen my little avocado pit that sprouted out there. And I just today planted some more avocado pits. So we'll see if I have some more avocado rootstock to work with. Another little experiment that I have gotten into recently is getting cuttings from trees around town and growing those. So this one is not corn. It's just what the pot says. This is a fig cutting. And some trees are better at growing from cutting than others. So I found a fig tree and got cuttings from it, and I'm going to grow figs at home when these sprout. And I did the same with this here. This is a white mulberry, and some of these, let's see, I think this one already has rooted because when I try to pull on it, it doesn't just give way right away. So some of these are definitely going to take, and over time I'll have my own mulberry and fig trees. And just for the fun of it, we got our Christmas tree, and I'm also trying to root this Christmas tree cutting just to see if it happens. It may not. From my research, is apparently difficult to do this, so it might not happen. Some other stuff that's going on is I'm trying to revitalize some of the carnivorous plants that I've had. They don't do super well in the winter, apparently, and I forgot about that, and they started to die off. And then I realized, oh wait, they don't do well in winter, so I've brought them in. This one is bouncing back. This one may die on me. Sad, but it's just how it is. And this one that I've had inside all along is doing great. I took a little cutting from it, not cutting, a little offshoot from it, and I'm growing another one in another pot. Oh, and over here, I have been doing a lot of seed saving recently. There's like a little fly floating in there. These are seeds from the yellow dragon fruit that I didn't plant. I saved seeds from another dragon fruit and floated them in water in here to break up the gelatinous coating, and they sprouted in water almost immediately, whereas these ones, the coating hasn't broken down very quickly and none of them have sprouted yet. I went ahead and planted some in the soil just to see what would happen out there in the garage. These ones are an heirloom tomato seed. And then it's a similar approach with these. You want to break down the coating. You don't have to do this, but they will sprout better and, from what I understand, stronger if you can break down the coating on them before you plant them. And I can show you what else is going on out here in the garden. Blackberries are about the same. They look a bit greener, stronger. So all the seeds or seedlings that I had in the little mini greenhouse over there, I have planted the majority of them out, and I'm going to do some things differently next time. So here's some of these little guys. Some of them have already not made it, and I've learned some things from that, and I'm going to do some things differently. All the ones that I've planted here in the greens bed are pretty much still alive. I think they're going to make it. And then these ones over here, I got some radishes, some beets. This is one that I direct sowed. This is a radish. You can see the little beets right here. And then over here we got, what was this one? This is a Chinese broccoli. This is one of the ones that got really leggy and tall in the little seed trays. And so one of the ones that did not make it, and this is why I'm going to do some things differently next time for the seed tray methodology. I think, so the cabbage didn't make it. That's the one I'm talking about. And I think part of what that is that went wrong, that I did wrong, is so I've been going the cheap way and using like little egg trays. And when I planted them out, I noticed that the roots were very long. And the egg trays, it's a good cheap solution, but I don't think it's perfect for all types of plants, because the roots were very long. They didn't have a lot of room to grow. And I think combined with that, there isn't enough space. So there isn't enough space for the roots to grow. So that if they do grow, it's going to get root bound really quickly and probably won't be able to get that big. And so all of that contributes to what will happen when you put it in the soil. It's going to get really shocked by the change. And I think that's what happened here, is like I can't even find, like there's one that's still there, but it looks like it's about to die. So next time I'm going to use deeper seed trays, so there's going to be more room for the roots to grow, and I will allow them to get a little bit bigger before I plant them out, I think, for cabbage at least. And I had a similar issue with, let's see, I think it was lettuce. Yeah, some of the lettuce has died off. Like this one might, it's kind of pale. I don't know if it's going to make it. But some of the other seedlings that I've put out are doing just fine. We got some zucchini over here. And that one's a bean. And then the rest of the guys out here, they're doing good. We're getting a little bit of a short season out of them. These are the celebrity tomatoes. This one was doing really sorry. I thought I was going to have to just pull it out or cut it back, but it's actually getting some good leaves on it. And then over here we have like a ton of Roma tomatoes coming back. So it wants to produce right now too, so that's cool. And then more over here. We're gonna have to make a lot of salsa, or like tomato sauce and stuff. My Basil Boulevard is having some trials here. This is the Genovese basil, I think. Yeah. I think it didn't like the cold, so this one is on death's door right now. These other ones are doing okay. Oh, I should tell you about my my potato harvest. I'll include the picture that I took. So the potatoes, I dug this up, and they were very tiny, which is to be expected because they were just little. They weren't actual seed potatoes that you would get from a nursery. They were just little cut up pieces of a potato from the grocery store. So you shouldn't expect much. And I got what you would expect. Kind of really. There was one that was like this small. So I'll include the picture of that. Oh, and I was talking about growing dragon fruits from seed from the grocery store. So on the fruit itself, some of them have little tiny pieces of the stem from the cactus itself still attached to the fruit, and that's what this is. I've taken that little piece of the stem and seeing if I can get it to root and grow. I have seen this done online, so we'll see if it works for me. That'll be interesting if it does. I gotta tell you about the problems I've been having with my avocado trees. They were being assaulted by little mites, and after researching it, what I think happened is a combination of factors, and I think I overwatered my avocado trees and gave them too much nitrogen. So what can happen if you give them too much nitrogen is they will take that up and the leaves will get very green and the trees will put on lots of new growth, and that can attract the mites, and then they'll start they don't chew up the leaves necessarily. They create these dark patches, and they kind of, I don't know if it's eating the leaves or just sucking on the leaves or whatever they do, but it ends up damaging the trees, and they develop these dark patches. And it'll recover now because I've been coming through and washing off the mites. And now that I'm aware of what I'm doing wrong with overwatering and giving it too much nutrients, this is referred to as overloving your plants. I'm going to be a lot more careful with how I handle my avocado trees. Like right here, I have a water meter, and I have not watered these for about a week. And because they just don't need it right now, I guess. Because it has not been that long since they've gone into these grow bags. So I think the roots haven't made it out here to the edge yet. So they haven't started, they're kind of insulated, I guess you could say. And of course it's cold, so not a lot is evaporating out of this. So right there you can see that the soil's dark, so that's wet, and that's pretty close to the surface. And it hasn't been that long since it has been a while since I've watered this, so I just got to be more conscious of how I'm caring for these plants, or else they could die. But you can see it's got a little bit of new growth here, so they're recovering. And over here you got some... This is what I'm talking about. It's very, very green. But there's some signs of recovery and slowed additional damage. So I'm confident that they're going to bounce back. And some of this is also just what happens to trees in winter, you know? Like this mulberry that I repotted. It's yellowing. It's probably going to be fine. I'm a little concerned, plant parent, but it's probably going to be fine. That brings me to, I repotted a lot of these trees, the little trees. There's the banana, the mulberry. I potted up the carob and recently the almond. And I can already tell that this one is taking well to being repotted because some of its color is better. Got some bird cameo over there. I don't know if you can see him. No, he's gone. Oh well. Oh, there he is. Anyway, I can show you what I got going on in the little mini greenhouse. I'll just sit in my chair here so you can see that in there in the back with the leaves, that's the avocado sprout. It's gotten kind of twice the size of where it was at last month. And all of these other little sticks around it are the fig cuttings that I was talking about earlier. I took a bunch of them because some of them might not make it. And then here's one of the avocado pits that I'm sprouting. Here's the other ones. And all the little herbs that I had inside last time I have moved outside. They've graduated to getting full sun, but still being protected by this little greenhouse because it is a bit cold right now. And then over here, I'm propagating a bunch of plants for Christmas presents. And one of them I'm doing is a few varieties of mint. And I experimented with rooting them in water, like I've shown you before. And some of them made it. Most of them didn't. And then I tried just taking the cuttings and planting them like you might do with a succulent. And they didn't like that, even though mint tends to root very easily. So I'm going with a surefire method this time, which is I have just taken a branch from the mother plant and have it partially covered in soil in the pot. And what that should do is encourage it to send out roots. And then once it has, I will snip this off and then I'll have another mint plant. And then I got the same thing going on over here. And you can do that with a lot of plants. And some of them do it naturally, like strawberries, for instance. They send out runners, like these ones here. They send out a bunch of little runners. Like you can see one right here. So this one over here, was a runner from this plant, and at some point this little umbilical, maybe I'll cut it, maybe I won't, it'll detach itself, and then you've got two different strawberry plants. And that's how I've made a few of my Christmas presents that I'm sending out. So that's all that's going on right now. It's mostly just a lot of little stuff that I'm trying. Oh yeah, I planted a clove of garlic that I broke up very recently, so none of it has sprouted. And that's from the grocery store as well. And then here's another good example. So this was an onion that we cut in half, and we used half of it, and the other half we just popped in the garden, and here it's growing. So it's fun to see which things this works for and which they don't work so well for. And you may end up having stuff that you can eat. The one that I'm most excited for is these cuttings. So yeah, that's it. I'll see you next year in January for January update.